Hello, you are here because you just signed up to watch my webinar, Unlock Your Mojo 3 Keys to a Life You Love. I'm so thrilled to take you through these time tested principles that successful people have used over centuries to create predictable, repeatable success in their lives. These principles are part of what I take my clients through in my 12-week Dream Builder program. And today, you are going to experience some of these principles. You will walk away with a clear blueprint for your life. You will also walk away with a clear action step that you can take today. I am Chandni, founder of Ask Me Wellness, mother of 3, and I am an energy and purpose coach. My mission is to help women go from burnout and depletion to creating a life of fulfillment and purpose. Each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. So that's you. Your finest day is yet unknown. So let's dive into this material and learn the keys to be even more successful and even more fulfilled than you are now. So again, welcome, and I'll see you on the other side.
And today I invite you to stay present with me fully and get a pen and a notebook because we are going to be creating your vision together. And we'll be together for the next hour or so. And for those who stay till the end, I do have a special gift waiting for you. So let's commit to playing full out. Let me know in the chat if that's a yes for you. I see the thumbs up. Thank you, Bosco. Thank you, Sandra. So before we dive in, let's get clear. Who is this workshop for? So do you often feel unfulfilled, confused, or overwhelmed? Maybe you have a big dream that you have been putting off, or have you spent years wishing and hoping for your dream outcomes to come true? Or maybe you know that you want more from life, but you just lack the clarity on what that looks like. So if any of this is speaking to you, then you are in the right place at the right time. Mary Morrissey, my mentor, says, if we are casual with life, life will be casual with us. So in the short time that we have together, let's get serious and let's engage with this wonderful thing that's happening with us, and it's called life. Let me tell you a little story now. There was this mother mouse who was leading her 3 little babies through a house, and suddenly, out of the blue, a cat jumps out at them, and its eyes are gleaming and it's hungry. It's obviously wanting to pounce. The mother suddenly stands up on her hind legs, then she shouts as loud as she can, "Woof, woof, woof!" And the cat is not expecting this. It gets startled and it runs away. So then the mother looks at her babies who are, behind her, scared, and says, "Now listen, children. Never underestimate the power of knowing more than one language." The story is not supposed to be funny and you don't have to laugh. It's just a cute story that reminds us that there is power in knowing the right language. So today we are going to dive into a special language, and that is the language of success. Now, nobody is born knowing this language. Whatever language you speak, we have all picked it up. We have learned and practiced it. And the language of success is just like any other language. If you want success, you learn the language, get fluent at it, and you can have the success that you crave in your life. So let me ask you, is there an area in your life where you would like to have more or better results? Anyone? Raise your hands if you have an area in your life where you would love to have more success. Yeah, all of us want more success in one area or the other. That's why you are here. So whatever results you have had up until now, I want to assure you that you have the power within you. Even if you've been stuck for years, it's not your fault that you feel stuck, because nobody taught you the language, taught you how to get unstuck. And what we learned as children from school, from society, is that if we want better results, we push harder, we work harder and harder. Nobody told us it could be done with a sense of joy or that it could be easy. And the good news is there is a system, there is a design process that will get you to your dreams, to those results with more ease and fun. And that's what we want. So in the time that we have together, my intention is to give you the 3 powerful keys to help you achieve your goals and to provide more clarity on your dreams to boost your confidence in your ability to create the success that you want. Can you give me a yes in the chat if that would be a good outcome to have with an hour spent together? Awesome. So let's keep going. Thank you. I see you. All right. So in the last 30 years, I've worked in various careers in India and in Canada. I've worked in hospitality management, in an NGO, in administration, and in banking and customer service. And now I'm a transformational life coach, right? And there's one thing that I've noticed, that no matter which country people live in, no matter what language they speak, we all have dreams. Now, where do these dreams come from? Our dreams are born out of the challenges that we have faced in our life, right? You see, we live in a universe that actually speaks to us. And the universe doesn't speak in words the way we speak to each other. It communicates through signals of growth. And those two signals of growth are longing and discontent. What is longing? Longing is something that arises when we really desire something that we haven't created yet. It's a yearning for something new. And discontent is what we experience when our current circumstances, our current results, they do not align with what we really want. Now, the good thing about experiencing these are painful signals sometimes, but these are both catalysts for your personal growth. These are soul signals. Our soul points us towards the growth that's calling to us. So if you've ever felt guilty for wanting more when you already have a blessed life, remember that these are signs from the universe, and you can let go of the guilt, because the universe is a benevolent universe that is always seeking more expansion for all, not just a few, but for everyone. So it is natural for you and me to also have these signals. Reverend Michael Beckwith has said, we are often pushed by pain until we are pulled by a vision. So it usually starts out as painful, and then we have the burning desire for something new. So these two energies, the energy of pain and the energy of a burning desire, these two together are essential for creating transformational results in our lives. Because if we didn't have the pain, if we didn't have the deep yearning for taking the action that is required to create transformation, we would be quite comfortable. There's nothing that requires changing. So we need this to grow. Now, let me share a bit about my journey. When I first came to Canada, my dream was very clear. I was going to do a master's in English or linguistics. I would teach English as a second language as soon as my second child went to school. So I was volunteering, teaching Burmese refugees in Canada how to speak English just to try out. I had landed a job at an international bank. Life was set. We had just bought a new house too. But then suddenly something changed. I found out I was pregnant. It was a high-risk pregnancy for me because of my age and my two previous cesarean sections. Was I scared? Of course I was scared, but I trusted my gynecologist. She was so confident. She was so capable. So now I had two kids, a pregnancy. I'm learning the ropes in my new full-time banking job, driving through the harsh Canadian winters, and I was still optimistic. Months passed, and two events occurred during the C-section that changed my lens through which I viewed life and the people around me. It made me question my faith in every way. The first thing was that on the day of the surgery, the gynecologist who I was depending on, she didn't turn up. No explanations. It was a different gynecologist doing the surgery. She had no idea of my history or risk. It was a shocker. The second thing that happened is during the surgery, the anesthesiologist said, "You're lucky someone up there was looking out for you because your uterus had started to split. Your baby's face was already coming out." So he had just told me that I and my baby had narrowly escaped death by complications or serious injury by a surgeon's knife. So you see, this is a miracle that I had just witnessed. But I did not hear miracle. What I heard was how close I had come to a total disaster. So my thoughts went like this. I thought I was fine, but I was in serious danger. I am fool, living in a fool's paradise, depending on people who didn't show up and thinking that I was healthy when I wasn't. And that changed everything for me. I had flashbacks and I lost trust in myself. So it was a brutally lonely, isolating time for me. I struggled with brain fog, chronic pain, insomnia, a huge list of symptoms. But more importantly, from being an optimistic, slightly cocky, arrogant 37-year-old, I went to being somebody who had barely enough energy to keep the job, keep the kids, keeping me and everybody else alive. I tried everything, all the diets, tonics. There were mixed results. There was no diagnosis. for why I was struggling so much. I lost all hope of ever studying or doing anything ambitious. So basically, I lost all my dreams along with losing my energy. I kept working in banking. And I saw kids who were half my age crushing their goals, living life. But here I was, numbing myself with food, fun, social interactions. Then something happened. Somebody who had known me since childhood asked me what my greatest dream was. And to my shock, all I had to say at that time is that I want to be a good mom, because that is all the energy that I had to spare. Years passed, and I came to a breakdown point when my older son had a concussion. And I realized that I was not able to show up for him because I was close to a breakdown. I couldn't support him the way that I wanted to. So that was my turning point. And from then on, I started prioritizing my health. I quit banking, studied holistic nutrition, became a coach. And finally, I realized that I and my clients had the same problem. We were not consistent. A lot of times when people say, I want to lose weight, there's something deeper going on. We weren't happy even when we lost the weight. So something was going on. There was something missing, I felt, some missing piece. And with the Dream Builder program, I discovered the missing link. I realized that the reason that so many people have so many symptoms is because those are the signs of their unlived life. And I wanted to help overwhelmed moms, overwhelmed parents to do something for themselves that was more than weight loss. And so now I am a Dream Builder coach and a transformational life coach, and I help people to create and live a life that they absolutely love. So the principles that I'm about to teach you will guide you to success in areas like your career, your health, your relationships, and your personal growth. My promise is that in the time that we have together, I'm going to give you everything that I've got. So now it's time for us to start learning, because we were talking about results. What creates results? Here's the thing. The results that you see in your life, or in other people's lives for that matter, they are either by design or by default. Write this number down: 525,600. 525,600. Does anybody know what that number represents? Can you put in the chat if anybody knows? Yeah, exactly right. 525,600 is the number of minutes that each of us gets every 365 days. It's the same for all of us. And in this time, as long as we keep breathing, we are going to create results in our lives. We don't get to not create results. We will create results either by design, by our design, or by default. If we take life as it comes, then we get the results that are by default. Or we have a choice. We can make the choice to create our results by design. Because if we keep doing the same things that we have done up until now, right, the results that we get this year are going to be the same as we got last year. And sometimes it can be even worse. So today, we have this amazing opportunity to look at the process of designing a life and changing some of those results to better ones. Who is with me here? Can I have a show of hands or an emoji to tell me that you would love to create better results in your life? Okay, so here's the great news. No matter what the challenge you have ahead of you, you have the power to create the outcomes you desire. Because your current results, you see, they are a direct reflection of awareness in each of these areas. These are the 4 domains: relationships, health and well-being, vocation, and time and money freedom. And these are the 4 domains in which you have the results. Now, in some areas, you have results that you absolutely love. You're ecstatic, you're thrilled to see your results. And in some areas, you have an opportunity to get to better results. Okay? Now, let's play a game to understand what it means to have awareness. What does that really mean? Look at the picture on the screen and spot all the yellow colored objects in the room. In this picture, can you spot all the yellow colored objects? Okay, time up. Now you have to close your eyes. Close your eyes, no peeking, and try to recollect all the red colored objects in the room. All the red colored objects. How many of you have a hard time bringing to mind all the red colored objects? Did you observe the reds? Probably not that much, right? Most of you notice the yellows because that is exactly what you were looking for, but not the red ones. You weren't looking for those. That is the selective seeing, which is a sign that your reticular activation system is working well. The reticular activation system is a part of your brain, and its primary job is it filters out irrelevant information and helps you to pay attention to opportunities that align with what you are looking for. Do you see where I'm going with this? When we look for yellow, we get more yellow. We notice all the yellows. If we look for red, we notice all the reds, but we miss the yellows. So what we pay attention to is what our brain or the reticular activation system brings to us. Now, here's how it is connected to our results. Think about how, as adults, we approach life. What is one of the things that all of us focus a lot on? We focus a lot on our problems. We focus work. Yeah, that's a good one. So we focus a lot on our problems. We focus a lot on our failures. We focus on how to avoid making mistakes. Also, how to avoid risk. So our focus is very much on the level of problems. And that's okay. That brought us to the current results. You see, the yellows were always there. The reds were always there. But for most of us, we only saw one color, which we were searching for. Likewise, when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to your goals, when you want to create results with ease and fun, you want to be able to increase awareness and change your focus with intention from problems and failures and mistakes to possibilities, to opportunities, to resources. And when you change your awareness from the level of problems to the level of opportunities, your results get better with ease and fun. So let's look at the way in which results are created. The basic formula for results is that our thoughts, they create feelings within us. Those feelings cause us to take certain actions, or sometimes those feelings make us not take any action or take different kinds of actions, right? And those actions or inactions, they create the results that we see around us. So let's see if we can agree on some things first. Would you agree that our actions, our choices, or inactions, those lead to a good part, if not 100%, a good part of our results? Who agrees? Can you give me a thumbs up if a few of you agree at least? Excellent. So actions do lead to a good part of our results, right? So then let's look at, why do we sometimes take the appropriate actions? And why do we sometimes not take the appropriate actions or make the wrong choices or make a different choice? Most of us have been trained to look around at our situation, at the circumstances, and say that this person did not support me, so I did not do this. I failed because I had a bad teacher in mathematics. We think that luck or destiny played a major role in our results. And we believe that predominantly these factors that are external to us are the cause of our results or the cause of why we couldn't take the action. So in the Bible, for instance, Adam said that Eve made him eat the apple, that Eve offered the apple to him. That's why he ate it. Now, Eve said that the serpent had influenced her. So basically, they said that the reason for our actions is because someone external made us do it. And you have said things like that. I have said things like that too, right? I cannot exercise. I don't have time. I have diabetes, and because my father and my grandfather had diabetes. Or this is a good one. I've heard this from a lot of people. I'm so stressed because my boss, he's a jerk. He's a grumpy tyrant. That's the only reason that I'm stressed. This is a big one too. I cannot work on my dreams because my spouse or my family or my partner, my children, they don't understand my dreams and they don't support me. So we have all had these reasons because of which we could not take the appropriate actions. Now, here's what I want you to understand, that these circumstances are not the reason that you take action or do not take action, even if it seems logical. Because you see, these are the conditions of our life. They are not the cause. They are actually the results of our past choices. We don't want to ask for permission from the conditions for us to take the action that is in service of our dream. Would it be wonderful to not have to wait for external circumstances to change for us to improve our lives? Would it be good that we don't have to wait for anyone else to change before we do the thing we can do? For instance, how many of you have the confidence to change your boss or to change your spouse or to change your neighbor or whoever you think is the biggest obstacle in your path? Could you do that? No, but we can work on ourselves, because you don't have to make anyone or anything outside of you change. There you go. You can have results you love, and you don't have to wait for your boss to retire. All right? Don't wait for him to pass away or retire. I've heard people say that too. You don't need that. Let's understand the results formula, because that gives us mastery over our own results. The results formula says that your thoughts cause your feelings, and you have the power to think positive, empowering, joyful thoughts, and they make you smile. They make you empowered and uplifted. Or you have the choice, like I did, to think fearful thoughts, to think anxious thoughts, to think rejecting thoughts of myself. And those thoughts will cause different kinds of feelings. And your feelings lead to your actions. By universal spiritual law, your feelings will determine how you act in a situation. Because you see, when you feel confident and energized, you will take proactive, brave action steps. But when you feel anxious, ashamed, or fearful, what are you going to do? Your actions will reflect that, because you're going to shrink within yourself. Sometimes you'll avoid taking any action. And that is an action and a choice too, right? When you don't take an action, that is an action. And you see, these actions and inactions of ours, they are the ones that really create the results that we see in our life. This is the law of cause and effect. And to sum it up, your thoughts cause your feelings lead to your actions, and your actions create your results. So if you want to get better results, you want to be able to think amazing thoughts that support those results. You have the power to choose your thoughts. That is the biggest thing that I want you to take away from this presentation. If nothing else comes to you, remember, you have moment to moment the power to choose thoughts that support you and uplift you, and let go of any thoughts that do not support your life that you love, no matter what the source of the thought is. You choose thoughts, okay? So this is how the formula is going to help us. Your results, they don't lie. Your results tell you what kind of thoughts you've been thinking up until now. So if you want better results in any area of your life, let's say your health, what you want to start with is to start thinking more uplifting, vibrant thoughts, supportive thoughts, thoughts that increase your capacity to feel better and take better actions. And when you repeatedly raise your thoughts, your feelings are going to join the thoughts, and then your actions will follow. And in a short period of time, your results are going to follow. I just want to check in with you now. I've covered a lot of ground. I want to know who is with me. The things that I'm saying, are they landing with you? Is there a takeaway that you want to share? Excellent. Thank you, Bosco. I see your thumbs up. Excellent. So let's keep going. So you see, your predominant thoughts about yourself, about your results, about your life, the last few years, those have caused most of your results up until now. And let's relate this to the story that I shared. Even though my surgery was smooth, I was fine, my baby was fine, my thoughts were all anxious, self-shaming, and leading to all kinds of absolutely new symptoms for me. I had never had anything like that. So if you are always thinking about how things could go wrong, and if you're always at the level of problems, your reticular activation system is going to bring you more and more experiences of problems. Whereas if you think more creative, resourceful solutions, if you're looking and seeking for life you would love, your experience of life will feel easy, it'll feel in flow, and everything will go way better for you. There is a name for this results formula and the practice of noticing this. It's called notice what you're noticing, or noticing what you're noticing. Now, I want us to do an exercise. We're going to quiet down a bit. We're just going to quiet down just for a moment. I invite you to bring your awareness to where you are sitting or standing. You can close your eyes if you want. Is there a chair? Is it a cushion? Does it feel soft? Does it feel hard? Now bring that awareness to notice the feeling of your feet on the firm ground. What are your feet touching? Is it socks? Is it a carpet? Can you wiggle your toes? Now I invite your attention to the tip of your nose and bring that to your fingers. You have 10 fingers. Notice the tips of your fingers. Now notice your breath. Notice your breath as it flows in and out through your nostrils. Notice that as you breathe, your chest is rising and falling. You have just noticed your body. Now let's become aware and notice your thoughts. Because remember, if we want new results, we want to notice the thoughts we are thinking day in and day out. So like you observed your body, you can observe your own thoughts. What am I thinking? What are the thoughts that I'm having? Without judgment, just noticing them. Am I thinking this is going to be a great day? Am I thinking that this conference, this webinar is going to go amazing? Am I thinking that the people that are here are also friendly and we are going to learn together? So you can notice the thoughts and you can notice how the thoughts influence your emotions. How do I feel when I think that thought? And this practice is called notice what you're noticing. So when you become aware of the connection between your thoughts and your feelings, you will see that with this awareness, you can actually create feelings within yourself that will support you to take actions for the results that you want. So to sum up, you want to practice thinking better, more empowering thoughts, and they will create feelings that move you to take inspired, appropriate action, and that will give you the results you seek. So let's do something different today. Okay, if you have never done something like this before, you're going to love this. Take a pen, a journal, or a piece of paper, and we are going to do a quick life assessment. Now, typically I go deep into this with my clients, but today we'll just take a brief look at the key areas of your life. So this is how the process is going to be. You don't have to start writing yet. You're going to notice your current results in each of the following areas: your health and well-being, your love and relationships, your vocation, or how you serve in the world with your gifts and talents. That's your vocation. And your time and money freedom. So on a scale of 1 to 5, rate or notice how fulfilled do you feel about your results in each of these areas. So 1 means you are not fulfilled at all, and 5 means you're completely fulfilled. You may be fulfilled in one area but not in others. So whatever comes up, I want you to notice your thoughts and feelings without judging them, right? This is not a process of judging. This is a process of building awareness, of stepping back from the results and observing quietly, where are you right now? So now let's begin with your health and well-being. You might be someone who has relatively great health, no major symptoms, but maybe you yearn for greater aliveness, or perhaps you might be somebody who feels stuck, hopeless in your ability to transform your health, no matter how hard you try. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I want you to choose a number. How fulfilled are you in your current health results? 1 means you're not fulfilled at all, and 5 means you're completely fulfilled, feeling vibrant and alive. I'll give you a moment to write down the number. Now let's go to the second quadrant, which is your love and relationships. You may be someone who would love to deepen and expand and have more fun in your relationships that you have with a partner, a child, or with family or friends. Or maybe you yearn for a deep, passionate, fun relationship with a partner that is caring and loving. Maybe you enjoy the company of friends and family, but you still wish that, you could have a deeper, meaningful relationship where you felt more seen, more heard, more supported, connected, understood. So no matter what is coming up for you, there are current results in your life. So on a scale of 1 to 5, write down a number for your relationships quadrant. Now let's keep going. Your vocation. Your vocation is how you share your passion and purpose with the world, because you come with unique gifts and talents that only you can express. So, in the vocation domain, you may be somebody who likes your work that you're currently doing, but you just feel like you're working too many hours. Or you could be somebody who's feeling stuck in a job that you don't enjoy, that's sucking the soul out of you. And you're seeking more fulfillment in this aspect of your life. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, how fulfilled do you feel with your current vocational results? There is no right or wrong here. Choose a number between 1 and 5. Now, this is the last one. Let's look at your time and money freedom. Are you someone who doesn't have financial freedom to do all the things that you want? Maybe you have these amazing charitable causes, family, friends that matter to you, but you don't have the financial freedom to do everything for everybody that you would love. Or do you feel like you're missing out on important moments with your family or lacking fun and play because you don't have enough time? You're always running. Sometimes you have a lot of money, no time. Some of you have a lot of time, less money. And the balance is off. You just crave more harmony. So no matter what it is for you, put a number between 1 and 5 for your time and money freedom. This is good work. I want to appreciate you for showing up today, for being willing to look deep into the results in each of these domains, and for your full presence. So having said that, as you reflect on your ratings for each domain, I want you to ask yourself, what is it costing you for these results to stay the same? All of us know that change comes at a cost. When we want to enjoy absolute vibrant health, run a marathon, or climb a mountain, that comes with a cost because we have to change routines, change foods, change habits. But do you know that staying stuck in your life, that also has a cost? Because when you stay stuck, the cost that you're paying is the cost of a life that you would love, the life that you do not have. That's the cost. So notice your thoughts around these results without judgment, because this is your opportunity to see where is your longing, where is your discontent, what are the signals of growth that are calling you towards your dreams. And this last thing I want you to write down. How long have you felt this discontent? How many years have you felt this longing in this particular area? How long has the universe been sending you signals? Write that number down. So the good thing is that it all starts here. It all starts with the thoughts you're thinking. So even if there are challenges in one area of your life, I want you to understand that when a score is really low in any one area of your life, it's going to cost you in every other area. Just like me, because my health was so poor at one time, it was costing me in my career, it was costing me in my relationships, it was costing me in my time and money freedom. In every other area, it had an effect. Right now, you have the opportunity. If there's an area that has a score that is less than optimal, you have the power to change it by starting with your thoughts. So remember, I promised you the 3 keys. We're finally at the part that we want to learn. The first key to mastering your results, it's the first secret of dream building, is that you want to be the designer of your dream. So if you don't see results that you want in a certain area, ask yourself, are you really clear on what you want? Do you have a design? Or whose design have you been using? Is it yours, or has someone else designed that for you? You are not going to expect an engineer to build a house for you without a detailed blueprint. What is a house? A house is something that we change multiple times over a lifetime. So wouldn't it be worthy that our life gets the same kind of detailed attention? So without a clearly defined vision, it's almost impossible to build a life you desire. You know, the famous philosopher Seneca said, no wind is favorable if one does not know to which port one is sailing. doesn't matter what good fortune you get if you don't know where you want to go. So that's why having a clear blueprint is so important, because clarity gives you power. If you look at this picture, you can see that what you focus on is what is within the lens that you're holding out. And it's powerful because it's clear. So how do we get clarity on our vision? Well, one way to get clarity is to follow what Howard Thurman said. He said, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. Then go do that, because the world needs more people who come alive. End of the quote. So when you get clear on the life you really want, you will begin to notice opportunities and resources that you have missed before. Suddenly, things will start opening up for you out of the blue. So now we are going to do this. You're going to actually design the blueprint for your dream. So let's practice. For today's exercise, I want you to choose any one quadrant, one area out of the four, and look at the earlier assessment of the four quadrants. There was at least one area that stood out to you, that had the lowest score, that you have been paying the greatest cost. Turn up the focus in that one area, and let's get crystal clear on your vision. So here's the question. What would you love? What is it that you would love? What will your life be like when it's amazing and wonderful and everything has worked out 3 years from now? So in the next few minutes, I'm going to invite you to lean into this. I want you to suspend the need to figure out exactly how a result will happen. We are going to put the how aside for a second. What if I had a magic wand? Can you imagine me as a fairy godmother with a magic wand? Yeah? Curly-haired fairy godmother. I'm here. I'm asking you, what would you love to have in your life? Let's do it a different way now. Imagine that there is this time machine, and what would it be like for you to step into it? And so now we are going to step into the time machine. We are going to fast forward to 2028. Picture your life as if it has completely worked out in every way. You enjoy vibrant health, wonderful, connected, supported, loving relationships, a career that brings you joy, that lights you up, and you have the time, money, and resources to do and be whoever you want to be. What does a life that you love look like for you? Can you see it? Can you imagine it in your mind's eye? Can you feel it happening? I just want you to imagine, close your eyes and give yourself the freedom that just in your thoughts, in your mind, you don't need permission from anyone else in the world to imagine a life where everything has worked out for you. Could you imagine what that would look like? How that would feel? Now, we are going to do the writing. There is a way to write your vision, because a vision is a living blueprint. It's a living document. So here is how you're going to write it. At the top of your page, I want you to write, I am so happy and grateful now that, because you're going to write it in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now that. So you are going to be clear and detailed, and you're going to use the images, the feelings, the sounds, the colors, anything that came up when you imagined it, and you're going to write it in the present tense, because you are right now in the time machine. It's 2028. So I'll give you an example. If it's the health quadrant that you're writing on, I am so happy and grateful now that I wake up every morning with amazing energy. I'm bursting with joy and energy. I love my daily Zumba routine, and so on. You know, you're writing in the present tense. So you are in 2028, you're writing in the present tense. I'll give you 2 minutes of silence to write it down. I've got this to time us. Keep writing. Keep writing in the present tense. Good job. Keep going. Keep going. Got a few more seconds, maybe half a minute. Write in as much detail as possible. What are you doing? What are you doing that you're grateful for? How do you feel that brings you so much joy? Who are you with? Okay, we'll just give it 10 seconds more. Excellent. Great job. If you have never done this kind of thing before, I want to say thank you for leaning in and doing this work that is new to you. Well done. So now that you've finished journaling, you can continue this later if you want. But at the end, I want you to write this or something even better. So at the end of your vision statement, you want to write this or something even better. This phrase is a powerful signal because it acknowledges that what you've written is what is within your awareness right now. So you write this vision for yourself, but at the same time, you're holding your hands out and being open and receptive to something even more powerful, even more loving, even more beneficial and fulfilling into your life. So good work. Now let's keep going, because you see, we just covered the first key. You have the key number 1, which is the beautiful design. It's a design of or vision of a life you would absolutely love. So the next key is deciding for your dream. You see, it's not enough to create a design. You want to commit to making that vision come to life. So commitment means that you are fully dedicated to making your dream a reality, regardless of obstacles or challenges. When you commit, this is what happens. You show up for your dream every day, even when it's hard. Now think about this. How many of you have either had a baby yourself or seen someone bringing up a baby? You know that you cannot commit to bringing up a life without showing up every day. Like, you cannot feed your baby when you're in the mood. Yeah? Can you let go of your baby for a few days and come back? You cannot, right? Yeah. So if you raised a baby, you know what commitment is. The commitment of showing up for your dream every day. That's exactly the kind of thing you need for your dream. You take action, you stay focused, you align your thoughts and feelings and actions with the results you desire, and you give your dream the energy and attention it needs to come to life. It requires commitment, persistence, and focus. And with this commitment, you lay the foundation. It's the foundation for your success. I want to ask you, consider, how committed are you to your dream? Would you be willing to take necessary steps and stay true to the vision you just created? So let's look at the key, deciding for your dream. The reason that deciding for your dream is necessary, and it's so powerful when it's done with intention, is that every single one of us, we are constantly making choices. We are constantly taking decisions. So I want you to understand, as a human being, remember the story of Adam and Eve. We have the free will to choose one result over another. We have been given the free will. So only we can choose to create the life we desire. There's no one else outside of us that's going to come and force you to choose to make your dreams come true. No one will force you to run a marathon or to pursue your passion. Only you can decide that your dream is worth it and to stay committed to taking consistent action. And the thing to remember is every choice, your small to big choices, they all have the power to bring you closer to your dream or push you farther away from the dream. So that is why this key matters. To master your results, you have to master your capacity to take good decisions. So what are you deciding today? Will you choose your dream or will you choose something that looks more easy? Like a lot of people decide not to take any decision. So basically just sitting on the fence, not taking a decision one way or the other. So that is also a decision, however. When you don't take a decision, that's a decision that you're taking. You know, Bob Proctor has said that there is a single mental move you can make in a millisecond that will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve any personal or business situation you will ever encounter. And it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magic mental activity. It is called decision. You know the thing about successful people? The highly successful people are very good at taking decisions. They make their decisions quickly and they change their minds slowly. I see all your emojis. I see all the love. I appreciate you and I see you're being here. What is decision? Decision comes from the Latin word decidere, and it literally means to cut off. So a decision means you cut yourself off from any other possibilities than the one that you have decided on. So committed decisions show up in two places in your life. Do you know what those are? They show up in your calendar. So who here has their work schedules and their meetings with the boss, everything really planned out in their calendar? Yeah, that's a commitment. The second place that your decisions show up is in your checkbook. So if you look around at your choices, look around at the places that you spend most of your money, you will see that you have made commitments to those particular values and places, people and events. So these are the two places that these decisions show up: in your checkbook, in your calendar. So why do we get stuck on? Do you know why a lot of people do not take decisions in the right way to help them succeed? It's because we are all wanting to know, how on earth is this going to happen? What is the cost? What will it take? We want all the answers first. Will I succeed? We want all the steps. We want to know every step of the way before taking a decision. So that is like saying all the traffic signals should be green before I take my car out of the garage. But that's not how successful people take decisions. If you look at the founders of big companies like Apple or Amazon, they are people who took decisions before knowing the how. And I'm sure you have done that too in certain areas of your life. So here's the thing. You must make a firm decision for what you want before you know how to bring your dream into reality. And this works because of how our brain works to create results. So when we take a decision, it makes the traffic signals turn green for us. Now, let me illustrate how is it possible to start and get to a new place without knowing the how. Does that make sense? Yeah, but regardless. So look at the slide. Can you give me a thumbs up if you are able to make sense of this? You can read it. I can see you, Pramod. Yeah, I see you, Rai, Christina, Bosco. All right, excellent, Laurel. All of you are able to read this. This is a very clever example. By jumbling the letters of each word, but keeping the first and the last letters the same, our brains are able to still read the sentence perfectly. It's fascinating to see how our minds can make sense of jumbled text. So, this is an illustration that you do not always have to know what is in between. You can actually suspend the how. Our brain works to fill in the gaps between the beginning and the end that we desire. So, let us now decide. We are going to refuse to let the unknown stop us from making a decision to move forward. We can trust what brain science teaches us, how our mind works to close a gap, how the RAS works to find exactly what we are seeking. So let's activate these parts of our brain. And to do that, you have to decide for your dream. You have to set the final destination. So let me give you an example. I had this dream of going to Los Angeles to attend the Dream Builder Live just this past January. But exactly when I was wanting to go, there were these fires in LA. And it was a scary thing because the news was showing me that the whole place is burning up. It's very dangerous. The air could be smoky. So I wasn't sure if I should book my tickets or not. On top of that, one of my kids was recovering from pneumonia. And then I had fears. What if I book my flights? What if I have to cancel it? Will I get my money back? Is this a good use of my money right now? But I knew that this was something I would really love. I really wanted to see Mary Morrissey live. And so I used what I had learned. I stood firmly with my dream. I said, this is what I would love. I just took step after step after step. And everything sorted itself out. There was no smog, no sign of fires where I stayed or where the conference was. In fact, my biggest problem was that it rained and there was a small hailstorm and I was caught without a raincoat. So it was never the fires that were an issue. If I hadn't known the principles of dream building, I would have postponed my dream and said, this is not a good time. So I'll go next year. I would have delayed it, right? So that's why deciding for your dream is so important. So now let's go to the third key. That is befriending your fear. The third key is to befriend your fear. Let me ask you for a second. Has anyone here felt fear before a major undertaking, like a new job, or when you were called on stage, to make a speech, for instance? Yeah? So all of us have felt fear. If you have a great dream, there will be a part of you that's going to say things like, yeah, right, this has worked for someone else, but it won't work for you. Where do you have the time to, or it's going to remind you, remember the last time that you failed? And that's common. But then there is another part of you. There's a part of you that has signed up for this webinar. And this part wants to learn. It wants to grow. It wants to expand your results. And so to get to the dream, we have to accept and make friends with the parts of us that want to stop us and drag us back to the old ways. Let's call them the dragons along the route. When you see these dragons, you don't want to stop. You don't want to, shrink and run away, because these dragons are good news. If you are seeing a dragon along your route, what is it telling you? You are actually on your way. It's telling you that you are on your growing edge. So you see, we don't have to fear the dragons on our route. So what are these dragons? We can use a term for them, paradigms. Paradigms talk to us like this. Where is the time? You failed before. You cannot afford this. They will see that you are an imposter. What if this happens? And usually the what if this happens is the worst case scenario you can imagine. So when we are on that edge, right on the edge, a part of us is going to cling to the old ways and try to keep us safe. So these are just old patterns. Paradigms are just old patterns pulling us back to the comfort zone. And they do it in three ways. They show up as distractions or delay, where we put off things again and again and again. Or it could be dissuasion. Distraction is like, oh, I can do it later. Let me clean up the drawer first. Let me do the dishes first before I write my book. That is delay or distraction. Dissuasion is like, you cannot do it. You are not good enough. Do you think you deserve these results? What are other people going to say? So it dissuades us. DEFCON 1 is when your nervous system, your entire nervous system kicks in with fear and anxiety. Those are the symptoms which you associate with stage fright, for instance. Your hands can get cold, your heart starts racing, you start sweating. And this can be so overwhelming that sometimes people entirely give up on their dreams. Has anyone experienced your heart beating out of your chest just before you were about to speak up in a meeting? Or, yeah, Christina, I see you. Why is it that these paradigms are good news for us? That's because paradigms don't show up when we are sitting on the couch watching TV. Paradigms only show up when you've made a firm decision to take action and you're starting to move your results. So you see, any dream builder knows this, that if you have a dream and you start building, it's not a matter of if. Definitely, these paradigms are going to show up. And when you're aware of that, you have a chance to call them out and to be the master of your own journey. So who is with me so far? Do you understand why paradigm is good news? Yeah, I see you, right. You're on the edge of greatness. So you see, next time you see fear or anxiety show up when you're going towards your dream, taking action, remember, this is good news. Now, let's talk about another F word, which is failure. When we were babies, we were very comfortable with failing. We knew that we had to get up again and again in order to start walking. We were willing to fall down. We never gave up. We saw that other people have freedom. They walk, they run, and we had the longing and the desire within us to do the same thing. And we failed repeatedly till we succeeded. So we did not stop. But as we grew older, did we stop giving ourselves the permission to fail and fall? As adults, what do? When we experience a failure in business, we say, I'm not meant to be a business owner. If we fall in love and something happens that hurts us, we'll say, maybe love isn't meant for me. But the truth is that failing and learning is part of the process. And this is the path that every dream builder takes. So dream building is like any new skill, walking as a baby, being a mom for the first time. How many of you have had the experience of not knowing if your baby is crying for food or because it's pooping or it is a wet diaper? Yeah, right? So there was so much trial and error when we became new moms. It's a whole new experience where you fail many times. So let's look at some of these famous failures. All these people became big after failing multiple times. Oprah Winfrey, Lady Gaga, Sarah Blakely, Colonel Sanders. These are all people who failed in small private ways before they became big and spectacular. You and I are no different. Small or big, dreams require persistence. Rejection is not the end. You want to be willing to rise above any doubt and keep going, because you know what? When you persist, you will absolutely succeed. So how can you keep going when things are screaming at us to turn back, to stop? Do you know? Here's something you can do. Here's a small tool out of many tools that I teach in my program. For today's purposes, this is all you have to do, is to become aware of the thought of where your attention is going. Where is your energy going? Is it going to the fears, the failures, the past mistakes? And then you want to use the power that you have. You say to it, you can actually do it physically with your body if you want. And you do it by saying, not today, not today. Can I have a thumbs up? Who here is willing to try this out the next time they notice a paradigm coming up for them? This is how you beat the paradigm. First, you turn away the paradigm and say, not today. Then you refocus your mind on the energy of the dream, the vision that you just wrote down. And then there's a third step. And the third step is that you take one action step, because thinking about your dream, writing it down is not going to make it happen. You have to do your part. You have to take some action, even if it means doing it afraid. So now take a moment and look at what you've written down as your dream. Ask yourself, what is one thing that I could do, one action I can take in 5 minutes today that would move me in the direction of my dream? So for instance, if you're looking for connection with your adult kids, your step may be to find for activities to do with them. You could find a Zumba class if health is your quadrant. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think into your dream and journal 1 or 2 action steps and choose any one. So this is a question for you to journal on. What's one thing that you can do to get started and be on your way? So raise your hand if you have any one action that you can take. Wonderful. I see you, Bosco. I see you, Sandra. Well done. And so you see, action is the best antidote to anxiety and fear. The only way you can beat fear is by action. So let's recap quickly the 3 keys to building the life and mastering your results is to design your dream, to decide for your dream, and the third one is to befriend your fear. Now, I'm just going to pause and ask, do you feel that like you've connected with some of these ideas? Can I have a show of hands or your favorite emoji if some of these ideas have landed with you? And I would love to know what is one thing that you would like to take away for your life at the moment and your dreams. Taking an action step today. Thank you, Sherry. That's wonderful. Remember, I shared how I came to this heart-centered work. I've seen my own life transform. I've seen the lives of so many others transform by learning these principles. I've seen the dreams coming true again and again and again. Since you're here with me today, I know that you're somebody who values personal growth. You are someone who is ready to take action on a personal dream, your own dream for a life you love. And as a gift, I'm happy to support you with a free strategic visioning session. That'll help you get more confidence and clarity so that you can keep working on your dream and you can actually make it happen in the next 3 years or even sooner. So how can a strategic visioning session help you move ahead? For 1, we will do a diagnostic evaluation of your 4 quadrants. 2, we will discover the blind spots and obstacles that keep you stuck. And 3, we will put your vision through a 5-point audit so that your vision is magnetizing, it's alive, and it's life-giving for you. And that will allow you to take bold, consistent action. And so this will be a 45-minute dedicated one-on-one time where we can dive deep into where you are and what you would love to create. And so in my email, I'll send you a booking link and you are free to book your time with me there. Before we wrap up our time together, I want to share a sobering truth with you. In the last few years, I have observed people do not stay stuck because they lack information, strategies, or tactics. It's the opposite. They have learned all the strategies and hacks, but they still stay stuck. You see, the real obstacles are the hidden patterns, the core beliefs, the thinking that's holding them back. People will leave a workshop like this feeling inspired, but will return to old habits without taking action because conditions and routines will take over. That's human nature. Once we leave this container, we fall back to old patterns. But you see, inspiration without action is just entertainment. So this is your chance. Click on the link and schedule a time. We can have a deep conversation and it's free. You will get all the guidance to create the vision that you would love. So it has been my absolute pleasure to share the learning with you. And at the end, I just want to read these words from a book written by a lady named Bronnie. The book is called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Bronnie worked as a palliative care nurse, and she had conversations with people who were nearing the end of their lives. And many people shared deep regrets and reflections with her. I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I had had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I wish I had let myself be happier. You are here today because deep down you know there's something more for you. Something is urging you to take more action, to be brave, to connect, and to truly live. And this is your one precious life. So embrace it. Again, it's been an honor and a pleasure to share this. And I love sharing this work with you. So here's to your dreams, Dream Builder. For anyone who has any questions or comments, if you have anything to share, I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear from you. What is the takeaway? What would you love to carry from this time that we spent together?